Good morning, everyone. You're all welcome. We're going to begin with the national anthem. So, Charity, can I play the national anthem for us? Lady Charity, who can play the national anthem for us?
So sorry. I have to log in with the system.
Oh, okay. Because I was told that the our national anthem is what we're going to begin with. Okay, so while we're waiting, I want to warmly welcome everybody that has been able to make it here today. Thank you so much, for being here. I could see my leaders in INT, some of them that are here already. Um, I could see who am I seeing? I'm seeing Dr. Shego Adaju. I'm seeing you're welcome. I'm seeing I believe Prof is here as well already. Prof, you're good morning, and yes, we're really looking forward for today. So yeah, thank you everyone who has joined us. If today is your first time, with us in INT, you're really in here for a wonderful session. We're going to hear different things that you have not heard before, but um, yeah. So you're gonna hear different things from what you usually hear. So, but we're going to explain to you about the reason why we convene this meeting to talk about the STEP conference. So you're highly welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Okay, so Mr. Otube would put up the anthem now.
Okay, thank you. Amen. All right, you're welcome once more again. I can see that before the national anthem, so many other participants have joined us, and so I welcome you once again, to this meeting that we're going to have. Um, we are not going to keep you for long. I understand that in Nigeria today is a bank holiday, a public holiday, so we know you have so many things that you have in mind to do today. So without further ado, I'm going to call upon our Director General, Professor Vincent Anibog, the vision bearer of this hallowed institution for national transformation, is going to take us in his keynote address Prof, before I don't know all the people that you invited, so I know that there are some special guests, that stakeholders that we need to welcome. So I'll leave that one, with you to recognize them before you go ahead with your keynote address. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Neka. Good morning, everyone. I really want to appreciate all the distinguished leaders that have joined us. I want to appreciate especially my colleagues, all the partners, all the institutional representatives, and also want to appreciate other ladies and gentlemen who have joined us this morning. And I want to say a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Institute for National Transformation, again, I warmly welcome all of you who have made the time to participate in this stakeholders roundtable. Your presence is very important to us because the subject before us is bigger than an organization, is bigger than a conference. It's certainly bigger than any individual. The title of my talk or my reflection with you this morning is Discovering Jurisdictional Responsibilities in Nation Building. It's a rallying call for all of us to come together and build the Africa we want. The image of the Black person today globally is not a good one. And it's not because we are not gifted. It's not because we are not talented. It's not because God had created us to be inferior to any group. I think it's because we just have not made the decision to go ahead and build our continent. So the question before you and I this morning is who will take responsibility for building that Africa that you and I desire? For too long, we have talked about Africa's problem as though responsibility for solving them belong to someone else. Today, I want to invite you into a different conversation, a conversation about responsibility, jurisdiction, competence, collaboration, and disciplined execution. First, let me talk about emerging global trends. The United States Intelligence Council, NIC, gave a report on global trends. They did a series of studies to examine the forces likely to shape the world over the coming decades. They identify major structural forces, including demographic changes, urbanization, technological disruption, artificial intelligence, digital transformation, economic competition, climate and environmental pressures, human capital needs, geopolitical realignment, and of course, growing competition for knowledge, marketplace, and technological leadership. The NIC Global Trend 2040 analysis draws particular attention to sub-Saharan Africa. It declares that Africa will remain the world's youngest major region, while many developing economies or developed economies are aging. Population and urbanization growth will create enormous economic opportunities for Africa. But the only question is, can African people educate, scale, develop productive and able and meaningful workforce out of this young potential? Do they have the system to do it? I can tell you right now, the Human Development Index clearly shows that so far Africa has the system on average to develop their people up to 50% of their potential. So the situation on ground will not harness this great potential that Africa has. That gives Africa an extraordinary opportunity which we must explore. The population alone is not an advantage. 100 million unskilled young people can become a crisis and not an opportunity. 100 million skilled, disciplined, innovative, entrepreneurial young people can become a great economic revolution. Technology presents another historic opportunity. Emerging technologies are increasingly becoming available for rapid adoption. Developing nations that build the right human capital, institutions, and innovation ecosystems can leapfrog stages of developmental and participate competitively in global value chains. But they have to be ready to harness the opportunity. Therefore, the question is not, will the world change? It is already changing and is not waiting for Africa. Rather, the question is, will Africa organize herself sufficiently to benefit from this emerging change? Let me shift a bit and talk about Agenda 2063, a dream that we must all own. Fortunately, Africa already has that continental vision, which is called Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. The African Union describes Agenda 2063 as Africa's blueprint, a master plan for transforming the continent into a global powerhouse of the future. It calls it, one, a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. Number two, an integrated continent. Number three, good governance, democracy, human rights, justice, and the rule of law must be put in place to achieve it. Number four, a peaceful and secure Africa. Number five, an Africa with strong cultural identity, values, and ethics. An Africa that knows who she is and not be dictated by the views of other people. Number six, people-driven development, especially harnessing women and youth populations. And finally, number seven, a strong, united, and influential global African presence. Those are the 7 pillars of the AU Agenda 2063. And you and I can all agree that it's a good vision. Importantly for our conversation today, Agenda 2063 calls for education and skills revolution underpinned by science, technology, and innovation. It includes transformed economies, value addition, industrialization, and productive agriculture. This is not merely the African Union's dream. It must become our dream. It's a good dream. The African Union cannot implement Agenda 2063 from Addis Ababa. Presidents cannot implement it alone. Governments cannot implement them alone. Agenda 2063 must eventually enter our ministries, our universities, our businesses, our farms, our laboratories, our professional associations, our religious organizations, our communities, our media houses, our families, but most importantly, ourselves as individuals. We must all collectively own this vision if it's going to become a reality. That brings me to what I call jurisdictional responsibility in nation building. Every stakeholder in nation building has a jurisdiction. A jurisdiction is an area in which you possess responsibility, influence, authority, expertise, or opportunities to produce change. One of the Africa's greatest development problem is that we have become extraordinarily skilled at identifying failures outside our jurisdictions while neglecting failures within our own spheres and responsibilities. Scripture warns us against concentrating on the speck in another person's eyes while ignoring the plank in your own eyes. The principle is simple. Before asking what others are failing to do, ask what have I been responsible to do. Yes, government may be failing, but in your area of jurisdiction, are you functional? Are you performing? Government and political leaders, your jurisdiction is to provide good governance, security and rule of law, sound economic policies, infrastructure, capable public institutions, transparent management of resources, an enabling environment for enterprises and innovation and for people to thrive. That's the responsibility of government. Business and private sectors, your responsibility is not simply to make money. You must create productive employment, innovate, develop industries, build competitive value chains, invest in technology, improve productivity, strengthen local production, and create wealth that benefits the society. Universities, schools, and research institutions, your responsibility is not merely to issue certificates. You must produce problem solvers. You must develop relevant skills, conduct relevant research, commercialize innovation, support entrepreneurship, collaborate with industries, and provide scientific solutions to the vast national problems we face. Professional associations, your jurisdiction includes professional competence, ethics, standard, accountability, certification, and discipline malpractice within your profession. We cannot condemn government for collapsing standards while professional institutions tolerate incompetence among their own members. Faith institutions, such as churches, mosques, and other faith communities, have extraordinary access to human conscience. Their responsibilities include to develop and mold character in them, integrity, compassion, service, discipline, family stability, and responsible citizenship. Even traditional community leaders have their own responsibility. Your jurisdiction includes social cohesion, community mobilization, peace building, preservation of constructive cultural values, and grassroots development. Even media and entertainment, you have your jurisdictional responsibilities, including informing citizens correctly, holding institutions accountable, strengthening national values, educating the society, shaping constructive narratives, and avoiding the weaponization of misinformation and division. As for the civil society groups, your responsibility is to represent citizens, educate accountability, advocate accountability, protect vulnerable populations, mobilize communities, and convert legitimate concerns into constructive solutions. Women and young people, we also have a role to play. We are not merely beneficiaries of government programs. We are innovators, entrepreneurs, professionals, creators, community leaders, and co-builders of the Africa future. As for families and we the individuals, our contribution to nation building includes personal integrity, personal productivity, personal discipline, respect for rule of law, care for public property, responsible parenting, civic participation, and service to our society. When everyone functions in their jurisdiction, the nation becomes strong. We are developed. So the greatest danger is blaming others when our own jurisdiction is failing woefully. A university may condemn government for youth unemployment while graduating students without employable skills. A religious leader may condemn corruption in government while running an organization without transparency or proper governance or financial accountability. A business leader may blame government for import dependence while making no investment in research, local production, and technology. A professional association may complain about poor infrastructure while refusing to discipline members responsible for substandard work. Parents may complain about national indiscipline while refusing to discipline children at home. And the government leaders may blame citizens while presiding over dysfunctional institutions they have direct authority to reform. This is jurisdictional irresponsibility. Everyone becomes an expert on somebody else's failure. Africa cannot be transformed through a competitive blame. We are in the business of competitive blame. It will be transformed through a coalition of responsible groups, stakeholders who do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. Why am I saying this? That's what has given impetus to the 2026 Delegate Step Conference Summit in Abuja. This is a burden behind our gathering. It is a rallying call. We want to bring stakeholders around one table and change the national development conversation from who caused this problem to what can we collectively do to solve this problem. This summit is about doing transformation, not merely talking transformation. We're inviting representatives from federal and state governments, ministries, departments, agencies, the African Union, continental institutions, development partners, universities, research institutions, science, technology, and innovation organizations, the organized private sector, manufacturers, industrial leaders, agriculture and agribusiness, financial institutions and investors, professional associations, traditional institutions, religious and faith-based organizations, civil society, media, women and youth organizations, technology and digital innovation communities, the African diaspora, and other strategic institutions committed to Africa transformation to sit together and own the development of Africa, beginning with our individual nations. The fundamental question each delegate must answer is, what are the most critical problems within our jurisdiction, and what are we prepared to do about them? Within my jurisdiction, What are the critical problems? And what are we going to do about it? Then we will apply evidence-based root cause analysis, STI-based solution, transformational leadership principles, discipline execution systems, monitoring and evaluation systems to measure, improve, and scale Africa development. It can be done if we know what to do and we are committed to doing it. It doesn't stop there. After the conference, we will identify those stakeholders who are fully committed to African development. And then we're going to organize them under the platform of Love Africa Now, STI Transformation Network. This is why committed and impact-driven participating organizations will be invited. It's not open to everybody. Not everybody is fully committed to Africa development. So we are looking for those few committed ones. That's why it's by invitation only. It's not for the crowd. It's for the few and the committed. During this period, we will spend 1 year from January to December 2027 to actually identify measurable transformational goals for each stakeholder, align them with national development priorities and Agenda 2063, identify priority sectoral problems, establish evidence and baselines, determine root causes for these issues, design STI-based interventions, strengthen leadership and management competencies in these organizations, develop measurable KPIs, use digital monitoring dashboards to monitor our progress, undertake periodic reviews, document lessons and innovations, and demonstrate actual outcomes and impact. By the end of 1 year, in the participating organizations, we actually want to see measurable transformation, not still discussing about problems. Organizations that embrace this philosophy will become part of the Love Africa Now STI Transformation Network. If we love Africa, then let's begin to change her beginning today. Let's stop delaying the conversation. Government does not sit alone. It's not government's solely responsibility to change a nation. Universities, we have our responsibility to play. Businesses, scientists, communities, we deliberately connect stakeholders because African problems are interconnected. They are actually multidisciplinary in nature. So it's time for disciplines to come together and bring solutions from their perspective. Why is participation by invitation? We are also intentional about participation. This cannot simply become another large conference. Transformation requires strategic thinkers. It requires institutional leaders who understand systems, who are willing to confront uncomfortable evidence, who can think beyond their organizations, who are prepared to collaborate and will accept measurable responsibilities and possess the discipline to remain engaged after the conference. Therefore, participation is by invitation. We are looking for organizations and leaders who are not merely expressed, who are merely idea expressors, who just talk about idea, but those who are ready to do it. People who can say, give us responsibility, give us measurable outcomes, let us go and work. Now, last appeal I will make is that this work must be collective. We have to own it. We have to own it. This is not a government-funded program. This is exclusively private sector funded. Therefore, this movement to convene government, business, civil society, universities, faith-based organizations, professionals, and other sectors. It must retain its independence, credibility, neutrality, and legitimacy. But independence does not mean that programs have no cost. The summit, research, technical preparations, delegate development, documentation, technological patterns, and post-summit measurements all require resources. We therefore invite corporations, foundations, development organizations, philanthropists, and committed Africans to become sponsors and partner in transformation. We are actually designing special digital platform for this program, and a lot of work has gone into it. Sponsorship is not merely paying for a conference, it is investing in the infrastructure required to build a long-term African transformation ecosystem. In conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and stakeholders, Africa belongs to all of us. Therefore, Africa's transformation is the responsibility of all of us. Let government platforms let government perform its jurisdictional responsibility. Let businesses perform theirs. Let universities perform theirs. Let professionals perform theirs. Let religious and traditional institutions perform their responsibility. Let the media perform their jurisdictional responsibilities. Let families, let young men and women, let every Africa ask themselves, what is my jurisdiction and what measurable difference will exist because I accepted responsibility for it? Love Africa now must become more than an emotional statement. Love Africa must become a statement of responsibility. Responsibility must produce competence. Competence must produce disciplined execution. Disciplined execution must produce measurable transformation. This is how we will create the Africa we want. Thank you sincerely to every stakeholder who has joined this roundtable. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for considering this vision. And thank you for being willing to move from observation to participation, from blame to responsibility, from talking to doing. We look forward to welcoming you physically in Abuja, Nigeria from October 26th to October 30th, 2026 at the Shehu Musa Yaradua Center. Thank you again, and may God bless you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Prof. A round of applause, to him. Most of us that are here, there are some of us here that have heard Prof and we know his passion already. There are some of us that are new to, Prof, and you have heard his heart. You might be tempted to say, oh, well, that's the talk again. I've heard that, things like this in different conferences that I have attended. Prof has been behind this same passion since 2007 till date. If there's anybody who is speaking what he believes, it is Prof himself. And I'll encourage you that, to, heed to what he has said and, make it to see what you can, what you can do to be involved in this, because indeed what he said is very important. Africa has what it takes for us to develop ourselves. One thing that we have not done is to take that responsibility. And that's what this summit is giving us the opportunity to do, to rise up, to take that responsibility. So welcome, and we have a lot, there's a lot for you to learn, to glean from this, from this organization. So I won't waste further of your time. Now, we're now going to go into the next of the program that we have today. I'm going to invite Mr. Anthony. I think I saw you here. Yes, I'm going to invite Mr. Anthony Bugembe take us in the next schedule that we have today. He's going to give us the he's going to introduce he's going to give us the program, give us the explain the program of the summit for us, the delegate participation, and talk to us through the 10 months mentorship journey. So you're very welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mama Neka. Very much humbled to be here. I greet you all. I know we are from different time zones. I'm in a remote place here in Uganda somewhere, and I'm glad to be here. Yes, so my work is very, very much simplified by our prof's that wonderful foundation, just to show the practicability of this movement and how it's going to be. I humbly serve as the marketing and sponsorship under the Directorate of Marketing and Sponsorship at INT International from Kampala, Uganda. That's where I base, but I also are looking forward to seeing many things happening in the different countries. Okay, I'm just going to use, I think, about 10 slides for us to run this so that you see the conversation right in time. And I believe that by the time this ends, you have made a very, very big decision as well. So this, like Prof has already intimated, it's more than another conference. It's a delegate summit. And I believe quite enough, most of all of us here got a special invite for invitation to come for this roundtable conversation so that we are given a little bit of an overview of what's expected, but also to see how we align our different institutions and enterprises. So the movement is Love Africa Now. And the bedrock is building science, technology, and innovation-driven African economies. That's the bedrock. Yes, like a connecting Africa, harnessing the different strength that different countries have. Now combine that with values-based leadership. That's what we want to achieve. So in October 26th to 30th, which is happening, that's where the Delegate Summit is going to take place in Abuja. By the time we come there, we have a bit of understanding of what is at stake. So this is more like a strategic partnership proposal, and that's why we asked you to come for this roundtable conversation. So the vision is to come from dialogue to disciplined execution, as practical as it sounds. The past or the present that we are in is we have a lot of potential yet delayed by fragmented governance and weak implementation. Yes, we have quite a lot of that. And that's the paradigm shift that we are. We want to shift from to do something. Yes, that's a paradigm shift. The future that starts now with this roundtable and the many other steps that you are going to take, we want to have measurable and implementable STI-driven economies. We are transitioning from conferences that end in wonderful communiques and very much reports to platforms that are going to engineer measurable and bankable outcomes. That's why we asked you as decision makers or executives to come to this roundtable. And our engine or bedrock is science, technology, and innovation, serving as the catalyst for this transformation that we are looking forward to, science, technology, and innovation. So this is more like a summary. And why do you partner with Institute for National Transformation? Three main pillars: sustainable development, education and empowerment, and then health and well-being. Through sustainable development, like Prof has said, we want to align with the AU agenda of the Africa we want. And like we all have heard from all conferences, whether on this continent or in the Western countries, the fact is Africa has potential. It has potential big time, probably the biggest next force that's coming up. But how are we prepared for that. So the sustainable development, we want to transform the vast community potential into enterprises, into jobs, social impact aligned with that agenda. I hope we have looked at that agenda 2063. It has major, major points. And that's why we want to be relevant to align to that agenda at the from the AU delegation summit. And then education and empowerment is the young people want to leverage. Africa has the youngest population and yet very, very underutilized. And even those who had gone to education, the education is not as relevant. It is head knowledge, a lot of papers, but it's not practical, transferable into production. So this STI into the education and empowerment, we would like to see professionals with relevant 21st century knowledge, but also industry, which is 4.0. 4.0 is more, we have a lot of AI coming up, and that is the next revelation after the computer age. So the education and empowerment comes in that line. And then health and well-being is building resilient, productive communities through innovation, values-driven leadership. Every country in Africa, with my little knowledge, I know they have their strengths. They are resourced differently. Their culture are different. So how do we harness all of that for the benefit collectively for the continent? We are very fragmented for the moment. For example, in Uganda, we have a very big agricultural economy, but there are not many times that there's a roundtable conversation with the Minister of Transport. So by the time the produce is heavy, the people have gotten their produce, then the problem is transport, getting it to the border or to the port for export. So we want to leverage all of these different departments, MDAs, to see that agriculture needs transport, needs AI, and so on and so forth. So together, we translate these core values into disciplined execution and national, or say call it continental prosperity. And we have a pathway. We talked about this last time when we are doing a debrief to the alumni, that it's a 5-step. Phase 1 is executive roundtable that we are having today to do a needs assessment with you. Of course, to understand what your needs are. Every institution has unique needs. But we also know that if we have a pathway that's going to address these needs, it will give us a collaborative effort to achieve whatever we would like to achieve. Then the second phase is the summit participation, which is going to happen in Abuja. And again, through this invitation, you'll see that the summit is going to be deliberated, is going to be focused from what we have picked from this roundtable. Just don't want to talk about everything like every other conference hub does. And then strategic needs assessment. We'll have some breakout workshops where different institutions will do their needs assessments, because that's what we want to follow up to from the summit in our 10-month program, the mentorship. We would like that mentorship to address the needs of a particular institution or enterprise. And then phase number 4 will have an implementation alignment, a flag off. So every institution will look at a project that we'll use as a prototype to flag off in line with their needs assessment. And then we start the journey. It shall give us about 2 months to do that. And then we start our 10 months program, where we'll be showing you how we'll be able to follow through with you to see how your systems are integrated into this dream. Something very, very practical. So our dialogue and continental participation is happening right now. High-level strategic discussion prior to the summit is what's going on right now. We were exploring all the collaborative synergies and shared priorities. And I know in your questions that may come later, you'll be asking those questions. And then this will help us shape the post-summit engagement framework. And that's why we are doing the needs assessment in this kind of thing. The summit is coming up in October 26th to 30th in Abuja. So while this is an invitation to discuss, the major work starts with the summit in Abuja, and then the practical engagement. So in Abuja, we'll have multi-sectoral delegation participation from all walks of life, high CEOs, executives, because we want to leverage on everybody's experiences and how they have been able to harness every opportunity like Africa has. And then we also want to align all institutional mandates with the agenda of the AU, because that will make us relevant. And that is very much emphasized over and over again, of course, with also the SDGs of the UN. And then engage with all continental policymakers that will be interested, investors and innovators. I believe they would love to see this kind of collaboration that involves everyone from across the board, from across the continent. So we'll be able to engage with all of those because we are coming as a block. And that's why this movement is important. So the stage number 3 is going to be the systems needs, strategic needs assessment. What is your capacity? What are your resources? How can they be integrated with STI, science, technology, and innovation? What are your projections about impact? So those are the needs assessment that every institution is going to be able to come out with. And this journey is the pathway that we are going to help you to do that. So we'll do a diagnostic audit, conduct with your nominated delegation, the people who have come here right after this meeting or during the summit. We'll share with you a form of how that is done. And then we'll also look at the identification of an opportunity available, pinpointing to the prospective partners' highest priority development opportunities. As an institution, probably in energy, what are your highest priority development opportunities that you have? How can they be integrated with STI? So those are the things that we are looking at in this needs assessment. Then we constrain the mapping. What are the operational, technical, and systemic bottlenecks? I've just given them an example of how agriculture doesn't know how Ministry of Transport works. So you have a lot of produce and you don't know how you're going to transport it to the border, or you need to again to discuss the modalities. So we would see to identify all the systemic bottlenecks in your institution, and then able to project the actionable outputs, something which is tailored, data-driven to guide post-summit implementation. It's quite an undertaking, but I tell you, it's worth every effort. Then phase number 4, we'll do the implementation alignment. Okay, we start with assessing the data that is translated into a customized post-summit engagement pathway through the needs assessment I've just shown you. And then the alignment is very important, ensuring that all knowledge, partnerships, and projects generated at the summit directly serve your institutional priority. And I think that's what gives it a competitive advantage. We would like your institution to be able to relate to this conversation, not a general Africa something. And then, I mean, we've been part of these conferences where the conversations are great, but you're trying to relate it to your institution back home. So that's why the needs assessment is key to know how to address your particular custom-made institution. And then resource optimization. We merge the prospective partners, delegates with specific mentors, global experts, and investment networks. What a very great opportunity. So the result here would be clear, actionable blueprints for local and national impact that, of course, will network with the rest of the countries on the African continent. We are going to need our global partners. So doing this is to tell them, look, this is what we have. Are you able to plug in somewhere? This is what we need. Of course, harnessing their strength, but the movement here is Love Africa Now, and like Prof has already talked about. And then phase number 5 is the long-term impact support of the STI management network. So this 10-month STI-driven mentorship is going to ensure that projects become realities. the 10 months of continuous mentorship systems design, and that is deliberate. You would ask, why 10 months? Why not 20? Why not 5? Now, the details will be shared with you if your institution, if your top tier staff register for this. 10 months has a way of urgency, but also not expedited in a sense, because we want us to understand these systems, but also give it a natural integration in your institution. And then direct continental access to university development partners and investors. That's why we are calling every MDAs, international bodies to come for this, because we want that integration to happen, to see practical way of integrating this. So the program investment is 1,300 per delegate. And that's the local equivalent of 1.8 naira in Nigerian money. And then Uganda shilling is 4.8 for the movement, this 10-month mentorship. Please take note of that. Then South African rand is $20,000 with those units. Kenya shillings 168 with those units, and then Rwandese francs 1.9 with those units. Now, we're just picking those countries, but I know there are quite a number of other countries that are going to be a part of this. So it can be a one-off payment for your delegate. Say, you know what, as an institution, we are bringing our 5 staff or 3 top tier, we're going to follow up on this 10-month program, 10-month mentorship. So this is our payment and we are signing up. Or you would choose to do 3 equal installment payments, one in January, then the other in April, then the other in July, equal, so that we understand your commitment. The whole point of this is commitment. It is sowing a seed which we want to water, prune, weed to make sure that there is fruit. By the time we return 12 months later, indeed, there should be tangible results that we're able to show. And that's the whole bit of it. So there should be guarantee, on ROI, return on investment. There should be that. That's why we are doing these sprints, okay? Commitments are broken down into immediate 90-day action plans to ensure aggressive momentum post-summit. Now, these details will come whenever you are signing up, because we have all of those details. What I'm doing right now is just an overview. And then the delegates should leave equipped with at least one fully designed fundable development project ready for capital deployment by the time the summit is done in Abuja. And then the 10-month journey is helping us to do impact reporting. Some that will start as a pilot implementation phase, and then we shall see comprehensive data-driven impact report for your board as an institution. And that's why the invitation here is not necessarily individuals, but institutions or enterprises. So this is something that I'm looking forward to, something very, very new, but very workable. And we can indeed build the Africa we want together. So we warmly invite you for this high-level strategic meeting in Abuja, now that you have seen this taking place. Thank you very much. That is my presentation. I'm looking forward to any further questions. Over to you, Mama.
Well, thank you so much, for breaking it down for us and helping us to see what is on the offer from this summit, that it's not just coming together for the summit, but seeing the rest of what will follow in the months afterwards. So thank you so much, for breaking that down for us. So I know that there's been a lot of listening so far, and some questions might be coming up. Okay, so what about this and what about that? So we're going to take some time out. What we're going to do now is that we will keep the questioning to the next we're going to keep the questioning to come towards the end. So we're just going to have a brief presentation about sponsorship, partnerships, and donation opportunities, which Engineer Sean is going to take us through. And then after that, we go into the full question and answers. So, Engineer Shane, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neka. Please confirm my audio is great. Right. So again, good morning, Nigeria. I know it's afternoon already in Uganda and some other locations around the world. And thank you very much for joining this special session. My session will also not take too long. I will highlight a bit more of the details around the logistics specifically and the cost of attending the conference in Abuja. And then we'll also speak to the sponsorship opportunities that we are putting on the table for all delegates and individuals. So yeah, I believe okay, did I get the right one there? Just a minute. Let me get my sharing correctly done. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, I believe it's correctly displayed now. So we want to look at this particular event, what we have in Abuja, 26 to 30 October. It's happening at the Musaya Adwa Center. And as if you know Abuja, this is a very central location that provides a lot of flexibility around access to transportation. It's a very good area for security and a lot of provision also made to ensure security and smooth logistics across the entire week when this conference takes place. So far, just for highlights, we have more than 600 invitations for this conference in terms of organizations. And then we're expecting about 250 to 2 delegates, including the alumni of the Institute for National Transformation, to attend this 5-day summit and, of course, to transition into the 10-month mentorship journey that has just been spoken to in a lot of detail. So what is this about again? First, we are saying STI-driven transformation, STI for science, technology, and innovation, aligning the change that we want to the STI methodology and making sure that Africa and us as Africans were able to distinguish ourselves by the technology and the innovation in the content of what we do, irrespective of the sector that we represent. And then the summit is a working session, it's a working summit. Like we said, this is not a conference of call and response and we just move on, but we have special plenaries, practical clinics. There's a great lineup of speakers and practitioners. We're looking at those who are professionals, core professionals in different areas. And the workshops will focus on the specific organizations that are in attendance. So this is not just a broadcast kind of event. We will ask you to come with your organization plan and we will begin to work on how to deliver those mandates in a very structured approach. Then the objective there again, we're talking about the return on investment. Why should you bring your organization and why should you also invest in the follow-up 10-month mentorship program? Because we know that with the correct expression of your project, it will be easy, very easy to find multiple sources of funding for making those projects to be implemented. And this is why we emphasize the alignment with the Agenda 2063 of the AU and the SDG mandate that would give us proposals that are very, very fundable, and making sure that your idea is fundable is one of the biggest targets of what we are doing in this summit. So what are the main selling points for this conference? We want to make sure that it is driven by outputs, not just a conversation like we have said. Then, like we said, delegates invitation only, not a free for all. And then we have a very diverse sector of participants, from government to business, finance, those in the academia. We have media, civil society, and everyone together. So we realize that every project requires a whole sector approach. And so we come together, we learn from each other, and we are able to get best practices into different organizations that are participating. And then, of course, that culminates in a structured approach to the 10-month mentorship afterwards. This is the cost of attendance for the conference for delegates, and this is per delegate. Uh, this covers, will show what this includes in the subsequent slide. So we say for the first 5 individuals for each organization, it's $1 billion or $750 equivalent, whichever other currency as well. And then for additional delegates beyond the first 5, it drops to $500. So please, let's have a conversation with us on how we can plan this with you for your organization so that the enrollment will be completed, and then we'll work out the rest of the logistics. So the registration includes the shuttle bus from any of the 3 hotels that we have designated for this conference. The first one is the Abuja Continental Hotel, which is very close by, next to the Musa Yar'Adua Center. We have also identified Dennis Hotel, which is about 10 minutes away, where logistics services will be provided on a daily basis. And of course, we have the Maria Babangida Women National Women Development Center, which is a third alternative. Now, a third alternative where now we're saying, supposing you live in Abuja and you don't need accommodation, yes, you can come from home or come from your designated preferred choice of hotel or any other option. But for this particular three locations, we would the registration fee already covers logistics to and fro, and that will not be concerned. So what's specifically not covered? Flight and travel costs to Abuja from the various locations. Airport pickup and drop off. Again, we can provide these services, and in the form, by the time you get into the website to register, you'll be able to see where you can select these services as additional. Dinner on a daily basis. Now, the registration includes lunch, buffet lunch, this conference from Monday to Friday, including the dinner on Friday, alumni dinner, and then tea break every day is also covered. So otherwise, dinner on a daily basis, hotel costs primarily at additional cost to the delegates. These are the ideas for the cost of accommodation at these 3 locations that have been mentioned. Abuja Continental Hotel currently charges about $300, that's about 420,000 naira every night. It benefits from proximity to the venue, and of course, it's a very 5-star location. Dennis Hotel is a very decent 3 or 4-star hotel that is very very excellent in choice for those who prefer this alternative. And for the very, very low budget focus, we have the Miriam Babangida Center, like I said, that makes things go as low as it can be. The objective is to make sure that everyone can find a point of entry that is suitable and would allow them to attend this conference without any restriction. Then for sponsorship packages, so we have all the way from diamond at the highest points to bronze, and each of these have a lot of attached benefits as we have it in the description. And if you are interested, we will actually send you a specific sponsorship package documents. Actually, this is actually already included. If you have received our invitation letter by that physical letter or an email that we have sent, there's a list of enclosures that includes the sponsorship package documents. If you click on the link, you'll be able to see all the details and all the benefits well defined. Now, we're not restricted to all these 5 categories. At the bottom, you see we accept donations and scholarships. You know someone that you think needs to be part of this and you want to just sponsor them, that's accepted. Or you just want to make a one-time donation to support the organization of this conference, that is also highly welcome, and we will recognize that. So, and what do you gain by sponsoring this event? First, you'll be given visibility to your organization as a nation builder, as a forward-thinking, forward-looking organization that is sponsoring the very positive things, the things that make for development in the future of Africa the right way. It will also give connection to access and networking with senior government officials, industry, finance, and academic decision makers. So it's a platform for meeting and for expanding the network reach that we have. We think this sponsorship will also provide thought leadership capacity for keynotes sessions, panel sessions, clinical exhibition platforms, which if you know what your organization does, you can bring you in on the program and the relevant section to contribute serious thinking inject serious thinking into the conversations. And of course, it's a measurable CSR endeavor. If you come in, the communique will recognize you. The impact report will also show. And then this is an opportunity to fund women and youth and those with those who are with less capacity, and those who are with a lot of groups, marginalized groups that can become part of this organization because you have chosen to put your individual or organizational CSR as an investment to make this work. So your brand will appear in the stage and brand backdrop signage, the program and the delegate materials, our website will carry your logo as a sponsor, media coverage, and other innovation exhibitions will also cover that. Like I mentioned earlier, speaking platforms will be made available, and then communique and impact reports would clearly identify how your effort, how your contribution has led to the success of such a laudable program. So this will be this is in summary how we can all come in as partners to sponsor this event, and as well what it takes to bring in various organizations on board, both to attend, to participate in the conference at the Musaya Adra Center, October 26 to 30, and to subsequently continue into the mentorship program for the next 10 months in the year 2027. All right, so thank you very much for listening, and I believe we'll be able to take all the questions, and I know Prof is still in the house to do justice to as many questions as we can have today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Sheung. So you have heard from him, you know, the breakdown of the sponsorship and the partnerships. And I could see that someone already has put up a question on the chat. So what we can do now is that this is an opportunity for you to ask your questions. You can unmute yourself, and whatever question that you have, let's use this opportunity to present them. So the first question that someone asked, I think it was Dr. Adebola, is asking, what is the registration fee for the online participants?
Okay, so maybe I'll take that first. For online, so we have repeatedly, and let me add context here. We have looked at what it takes to deliver on the mandate of this particular program. Like we said, it's a working conference that sits down, interfaces, involves a lot of conversation. And so the online environment does not enable that very well. So we're making a decision that for those who would proceed in this program in active participation with the view of also going into the mentorship program, online would not be a suitable platform to make that happen. That is why you haven't seen any information about online registration, online participation. The objective is all physical. And I hope that clarifies.
Okay, thank you very much. So any other question does anyone have any other question to ask? You can raise up your hands, you can unmute yourself. Especially those that, this is the first time that you're hearing this, you can ask any question. There's no question that is a stupid question. We understand that this is a stakeholder engagement, that there are some people that don't even know what INT is all about that are here with us. So whatever you want to ask, just feel free to ask. Okay, Robinson Asimiwe, your hands are up. Go ahead, Mr. Robinson.
Yes, thank you very much for this initiative. I just want to appreciate the brains that put this together, and looking forward to attending this conference. My question is, you indicated, or at least Anthony Bugembe indicated that the requirement will be to come up with a bankable project. So are you looking at people thinking into the projects that they want to do in the coming year, new projects, or you are looking at existing projects which will be assessed and then empowered to move on? Is this a new project? Or if I didn't have a project at all, do I qualify and I want to start a new one? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Engineer Sean, were you answering, or should Mr. Anthony answer?
So Anthony, are you there? That was part of your presentation, or if Prof is, would like to take that as well. Yeah.
Yes, I would answer, but also ask Engineer Sean or Prof to supplement. Yes, thank you, Mr. Simwe. Thank you very much for coming for this as well. I would say it's a bit of both in my understanding, and that's why we are doing a needs assessment. It could be assessing an ongoing program, an ongoing project already that just needs to be integrated with this movement, STI driven. Or you'd want to start something new altogether that you're going to commit to see its growth and coming out with an output, at least by the first turn after the 10 months. So a bit of both, I should say, an ongoing project that you want to integrate with this system, or a new one that said, now that I see this dream, this is what I'm going to start with my institution, and they're going to work with you for those months. Engineer Sean, please pick it from there.
All right, thank you very much. I think you've spoken to it. So the objective is it's like a workshop kind of thing, like a consultancy thing. I will look at your organization, what you do, what you're trying to achieve. So that means, for instance, you have a project, we might be recommending to you how best to achieve that project, or whether you should actually be focusing on another kind of project or a different aspect or element of that project. So, and if there's nothing existing, definitely we have a queue of recommendations that we can help you plug into and review with you. And if that aligns with your objectives, yes, we'll get you started on that particular one. So all the options are on the table. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That's helpful. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. So we have another question on the chat. It's from Mr. Emmanuel Ogidiolo. All right. So it says, what is the cost of participating as an individual, as a faith-based Christian organization? Is this conference relevant to our organization? So, Engineer Shea, do you want to take this or should I?
Yes, I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I like Prof could speak to it once. Yes, this is, in fact, we have invitations gone out to a lot of faith-based organizations that will be part of this event. So that's why we're saying STI methodology. We are not saying STI organizations. So STI methodologies it applies across board. And I'll make a reference, for instance, to the current class of class 050 in Nigeria. That will also be injecting a very critical element of their content as a class in this conference. As a class, their projects are aligned with the AU 2063 agenda, irrespective of the kind of platform that or program or interest that each individual has. These are group projects, but then we have people. So a project could be talking about after school children or something in the area of community engagement. It requires people with understanding of science. It requires people who are into education. It requires people who are interested in issues around family. It requires people who are people of faith. It requires people who are looking at the issue of social media. Every issue requires a 360-degree approach to solving them, not just a single professional perspective. So with that said, yes, faith organizations are well invited. Now, to the first part of your question, really around the cost of attendance. Yes, we know that this cost may be high for certain kinds of organizations, and that's why we ask for a conversation. If this is something you are thinking about and financing is a constraint and you have the individuals that you want to send, we can work with you to see how best to make this the cost as low as possible, or if where possible to also see if we can help find sponsors to make that a reality. So let's have that conversation and then we'll be able to find a common ground to work with. Thank you very much.
I don't know if Mr. Emmanuel is satisfied with the answer that he got. Mr. Emmanuel, do you want to let us know if you have any further question on that? And while we're waiting for you, there's also I think it's a comment by Assumpta Iwu. She says some of us are struggling with finance to execute projects, which have been a major challenge which has been a major challenge. So with the registration and the sponsorship, it won't be easy to participate or register. So what next? So yeah.
Nick, can I speak here?
Okay, sir.
I want to thank everyone who has made a comment. If you pay attention to the presentation, it's a whole new season we're entering. And in fact, I would recommend every church, every pastor here to bring at least a team. In your congregation, you can create a team in the education sector. In your congregation, you can create a team in the business sector. In your congregation, you can form a team, an NGO. In fact, pastors are the ones that should take complete maximum advantage of this to shift from talking to doing. So any group you create in your church that you believe can be deployed in the society, you can bring that team here. In fact, pastors, you should only bring your own pastoral team to learn how to make impact in these different sectors. Unless you know how your members can function and have impact in these sectors, your church will never have societal impact. It will still be marginalized to a building. But if you can intuitively create groups that you want to empower, that in the future will begin to own different sectors, then I think you will see the great advantage of bringing them to this conference. So I think it's more of an opportunity for churches than any other group if you want to widen your sphere of impact. As for my fellow Oxide alumni, this also is about helping you to think bigger about your project. You may be seeing it as a small project, but have you connected it to AU Agenda 2063 and see even a bigger thing you can do? Then you must have formed a group. If you have not formed a group, an SPV, this conference is not for you. This is for people who want to take their project further, who have created an SPV, at least have 3 to 5 people working with them, and they are coming to be empowered, their mindset to be enlarged, and to connect to people that can actually help fund your project. Those are the people for this conference are actually created. It's not for everybody. Thank you.
Give that clarity. As you were speaking, I just remembered the scripture that said we shouldn't just be merely hearers of the word, but doers of the word of God. So that's really what this, will help the faith-based organizations to do. So that's so interesting. And I hope that answered the question for the person who raised the question. So we have also another, clarification question that Abdullahi is asking. He said Mr. Anthony mentioned 1.8 million in Naira, while Engineer Sean mentioned 1 million. So he wants clarity on that one.
All right, thank you very much. Let me quickly clarify that. So there are 2 different things. I mentioned the cost of attending the conference for the 5 days as a delegate, inclusive of what that entails. While what Mr. Anthony has shared speaks to the post conference mentorship program that lasts for 10 months, and that includes some physical engagement, some remote, some kind of side visits. It's think about it as even like a master's, a professional master's program. That is how enriching and how in-depth that particular program is. So those costs are referring to those 2 different layers of responsibility, to use that word. And again, like I said, if where necessary for individuals or organizations, we can come in to see which areas we can help to make sure that your desire, your intention to participate is not hindered in any of these 2 critical areas.
Okay, thank you very much for that response. Mr. Abdullahi, does that clarify things for you? Oh, okay. All right. I don't think we have any further question. And so we can move on to okay, sorry. Okay, he said yes, that answers his question. Well done. Okay, so now Engineer Sean, we're going to go over to the closing aspect of it, which I'm going to hand over to you to do the resolutions, the next step, and give us the closing remarks. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I really want to Appreciate everyone who has been able to be part of this meeting. The recording will also be made available subsequently for review. Then we will also be reaching out to you via the contact details that we have to do the needs assessment that Mr. Anthony has spoken to in his presentation. Like we said, we want this to be very focused, goal-oriented, looking at each organization's unique requirements, and we'll be working with you to get that done. So expect other conversation from us, asking you to complete a needs assessment survey that we'll then be able to use to customize the solution for your organization, and the conference will then speak specifically to that. Prof hasn't had time to share around the list of invited speakers. We have a very high profile guest list, both from national and international sources. So as we get closer as well, and we get a lot of confirmations, so you'll see that on our social media and email conversations with you as well. Bottom line is, this is a conference for serious-minded individuals and organizations. A small number, Margaret Mead says, never doubt it's a small group of thoughtful and committed leaders. Never doubt how much difference they can make, how much change they can make happen. He said, in fact, that is the only thing that has ever changed any organization. So moving away from the blame, moving away from the finger pointing, and in fact, in Nigeria, for instance, we're entering into the season of political, activities. So we want to come with solutions. We want to come with solutions that work, based that depend on us, and for which we can take responsibility that this is what I would do about this area, and with certainty, not like a probability. We can say we took this action and this is the results that we have. So we're bringing the knowledge base, we're bringing the capacity and the networks that would be required to get this done. And we say this is an important one. If you are serious about making change happen, let's come together and let's make it happen. So we look forward to those conversations with you, getting into the registration, and help you with the logistics, and post-event. We're saying this will be more than worth your investment in making this happen. So thank you very much to all the leaders, both from the Institute for National Transformation, local and international. Thank you very much, Prof. It's actually 6 hours behind our current time zone in Lagos, and it's still made time to be here with us this morning. Thank you very much, Prof. And to everyone at INT alumni, all the leaders who are here, you are very well appreciated. Prof, you want to share a final one before?
No, I just want to thank you. My INT family, you know how much I love you. You know how much I believe in you. But we must become the children of Ishaka that know what Israel ought to do. The season for serious-minded engagement for nation building has come. And so my prayer for you really is, one, you will see it. Number two, you will pay the price, because there is a price to pay for the next level, to move from talking and discussing to engagement. And most importantly, that you will not be left behind. This is going to become our way of running conferences moving forward. And I see that a small group of an ecosystem of stakeholders who are seriously engaged in doing. I see that growing with time, and eventually it will overtake Africa. So please prayerfully hear from God before you make a decision whether you will come or not. If you decide to come, God will make a way and He will give you the wisdom. Thank you all so much, Gina Shehu, admin, for everything you do I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, Anthony. And you all have a wonderful and blessed day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, sir. So with that, as we usually would do for our IIT meetings, we will take a national prayer by taking a national pledge. All right, so let's take that together. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, serve Nigeria with all my strength, defend her unity, and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Antonio, representing all our international guests.
Thank you. Bless you.